My friend told me about this one. In Monsters Incorporated, Mike and Sully are stuck at the Himalayas, mad at each other, so Mike shouts at Sully, "You've been jealous of my good looks since the 4th grade." Then Pixar went on to make an entire film about how Sully and Mike met each other at Monsters University.
Pixar team members actually realized this and joked that, in order to save face, the "you've been jealous of my looks since 4th grade" line is an old Monster expression.
The Decepticons were tech-savvy and understood human culture enough to hack the entire US military in 10 seconds without them knowing. But they couldn't set up an eBay account to bid on some old glasses.
I just don't get it. Sam was trying to sell the glasses anyway, and Megatron wanted to have them. This could have been done in a much more civilized way with everyone happy. Sam with $20 or so, and Megatron with control of the world, all happy.
Well, the shipping costs is how they get you.
Why didn't the military just shoot the T-Rex in Lost World? Why let it just run around eating people?
The lack of Air Force intervention in any of the Jurassic Park movies is a serious problem for me. The entire series would have ended 5 minutes after the first person was eaten in the real world, as A-10s and F-22s rolled over the island.
Hey, wanna go out? Sure. When? Tomorrow? Alright. See you then. Where the fuck are they meeting up? And at what time? How do they know? Movie magic. Star Wars 3, hands down. In the span of 5 minutes, Anakin goes from conflicted about what is right and wrong to murdering children in cold blood. Armageddon, why not just train astronauts how to drill?
Cause Harry Stamper has never missed a depth that he has aimed for. And by God, he was not gonna miss this one.
Independence Day. Somebody brought the movie up, but here is a better whole colon. When David is telling everybody about his plan to use a computer virus to get the ship's shields down, they ask him how long it will work. He says a few minutes. Yet the entire US military attacks a single ship, and then after a long battle they then tell the other nations how to attack and how to defeat the ships. Let us ignore how the entire remaining US military failed to destroy a single ship with their attack, and it was only a jet ramming up the primary weapon that succeeded in taking it down. Hence, why the aliens would not be able to just not open their primary weapon. Let us also ignore that instead of using nukes to destroy the ships, they decide to attack with some F-18s. But the movie goes out of its way to say this will only work for a little bit, and then totally ignores that and makes it appear like the ship's shields are down forever.
Ant-Man. They come up with a semi-decent explanation for the whole size-changing thing. Set up rules about it, and then promptly ignore that explanation and rules they set up, so the PIM particles change distance between atoms and shrinking doesn't reduce mass. They make a big deal out of it, showing how a bathtub cracks when he drops into it while shrunk. Telling him how due to his weight him punching someone while shrunk would be like shooting that person, and then he rides an ant. And one character carries a tank on his keychain. And people don't notice him when he's on their body. And he can shrink to be smaller than an atom by reducing the distance between atoms in his body. And a million other things that simply shouldn't work, but they do because fuck consistency. It wouldn't bother me so much if they just said that the shrinking thing was magic or some nonsense technobabble and then did whatever they wanted with it. But they gave it a semi-plausible explanation, set up rules how it works, and then ignored it all.
My favorite is when he runs up a guy's arm like he weighs as much as an ant, but then punches him not only with the force of a regular person, but the guy practically does a flip so it's as if he were normal size too. It just ignores all of the rules in the space of about 2 seconds.
Teenage dude can turn into a werewolf, but everyone, including a government that should probably try to turn this into a military advantage, is just cool letting this guy dominate high school basketball games. Also, the jerk stud on the opposing team gets to stand under the basket during key free throws. Really, that bugs me far more than a potential killing machine running the point.
I think the bigger plot hole is a 5'4" Michael J. Fox on a basketball team.
King Kong, 1933. Why did the natives build a wall to keep King out? then include a huge store that would allow him access when it was opened.
They had mixed feelings about him.
In The Incredibles, the son is named Dash, which is fitting since his superpower is running. But how did they know that when they named him?
In The Incredibles they mentioned that the baby is late for his powers, so maybe Dash was an early bloomer with his powers, or it's a nickname.
I like to believe he bolted out Elastigirl's hoo-ha. Like one of those poops where it happens so quickly you're kind of in shock. Frozen. Parents, the wise trolls will tell us how to deal with Elsa's powers. Trolls, Elsa must learn to control her powers. Parents, great idea. Let's lock her away and never speak of her powers again.
Die Hard 2 is full of them. All commercial aircraft have backup radios and are usually in contact with their own company dispatch on other frequencies. The control tower is not their only link to the outside world. Aircraft that cannot land at Dulles can land at Reagan National or BWI, both of which are less than 100 miles away. So none of them needed to be kept in holding patterns for hours. You can't fuck with instrument landing systems to fool aircraft into thinking they're at an altitude they're not. They wouldn't be bringing a drug lord via military aircraft under heavy guard into Dulles Airport on Christmas Eve, and so on and so forth.
Back to the Future. When Marty grows up, how does his mom not recognize him as the guy she tried to bang in high school?
Do you recognize every person you've tried to bang?
I would definitely recognize someone who got hit by my car, lived in my house, tried to bang me, caused a car chase through my town, eventually hooked me up with my current SO, and played an insane never-before-seen guitar solo at prom.